Late Night Health continues. Dr. Greg Celaya, chiropractor and nutritionist, regular contributor to the program, is on the line. Greg, how you doing this afternoon?
Hey, Darrell. Good to be here.
Yeah, this may be Late Night Health, but we don't record at midnight or 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. We try to make it at a more reasonable hour sometimes. And speaking of reasonable hours, I guess today we're going to talk about that afternoon crash, that dragging down that happens to each and every one of us somewhere between 1 and 3 in the afternoon sometimes.
Yeah, pretty common situation.
So is most of it in regard to not properly spacing meals, not eating properly, not eating the right things? I'm sure all of those are contributing factors.
Yeah, it's all the above. The biggest issue is we see that most people have a crash anywhere from 2 to 4 usually, and their answer is to artificially pump themselves up with soda, coffee, energy drinks, sweet snacks.
Snack machine.
Yeah, but sweet stuff. And if you think about what's happening, it makes perfect sense as to what your cravings are. You there, Darrell?
Yeah, I am. Hold on one second. Something, let me do a pickup. Something happened.
Okay.
So, yeah, that is the natural way that most people go, because that's... if you don't prepare, that's what's available.
Yeah, and well, the thing you have to understand is the usual reason that you have this happen is you have an unstable blood sugar, meaning that your blood sugar usually has dropped. And there's reasons for it. One of the number one things is the food that you're eating, and like you mentioned, when you're eating it. So the big thing is, first off, breakfast. How many people eat carbohydrates for breakfast? Fruit, cereals with sugar. And basically what that does is it tends to create your blood sugar level to drop because your body oversecretes insulin to put it into the cell. And now all of a sudden, later down the line, you're having a reduced blood sugar level, and then you go ahead and you try to solve that problem, and the simplest way to solve that problem is with carbohydrates, right? Because they digest fast. And then guess what happens again? You end up getting another decrease or drop in blood sugar, and it's something called a roller coaster.
I don't know whether it was actual fact or not, but somebody on the show recently stated that there was a study done where some people ate the cereal and some people ate the box, the shredded up box that the cereal comes in, and there was more nutritional value in the box than there was in the cereal itself.
Oh, that's pretty funny. I've not heard that one. But, it's not just breakfast, but then it's lunch, and then it's snacks, and it's dinner. And let's just say you're eating bad stuff for dinner or dessert. Now you have a problem in the morning, and you're going to try and solve it with carbohydrates again. And so, the biggest issue that I see over and over and over again are fruits and orange juice and all the rest of that stuff that we've been taught to eat for breakfast, which is a problem.
And fruit is also a contributor to the sugar issue, right?
Oh, absolutely. Fruit at the right time is fine within reason. But for breakfast, you're just spiking your blood sugar level, and it's definitely something that's going to create you a problem later on. You're going to ride the blood sugar roller coaster.
Well, part of the blame also, I guess, would be diet, because like Weight Watchers keep saying fruits are free, eat as much fruit as you want, as often as you want.
Right, and that's part of a problem. And one of the issues is if you end up creating this monster, so to speak, over time, you end up with either insulin resistance or hypoglycemia. And it becomes a chronic issue. And then you have to pump it up with caffeine and energy drinks, and now you've got a real problem because that puts a lot of stress on your system, your adrenal glands, and the rest of your body.
Well, the energy drink business has become huge over the past couple of years. Not only, with the Red Bulls and the Monsters and that, but also now the soda companies are coming up with their own high rev version. I know Mountain Dew has some sort of enough caffeine already. They've come up with some sort of an energy drink version. Are there any drinks out there that are actually reasonable for you and good for you that fall within the boundaries of these energy drinks, or they're all bad?
Well, the energy drinks, they're basically overstressing your system. There are very few people that can actually tolerate them within reason. They may think they can, but basically it's legal liquid drugs is pretty much what it is. Right?
I had somebody referred to as coffee earlier as a mild drug.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you take these people that have been on these stimulants for a long time and pull them off and see what happens. Right? I'm sure it might even happen to you.
I'm off the coffee wagon at this point. I mean, it was such a big part of my life for so long, and first of all, just did it out of habit, necessity, and because that's what my parents did, that's what I did. And then, came along Starbucks with the really strong stuff,
and
my goodness. I began to really like that. Although what they do is they double pop. They cook the beans until they pop twice, which is actually just burning the beans to give it that strong taste, and became to think that I enjoyed that. And then over the past year or so, get up in the morning, hit the bricks running, no time to make coffee. Everybody that left the house earlier than me already drank it. And I've just stopped. But it used to be if I went more than 12 hours without a cup of coffee, there were physical machinations that you went through, headaches and shakiness and a whole bunch of nastiness.
Oh, sure. It's one of those things to where when you first try it, it makes a difference. It makes you feel like $1 million. Then all of a sudden, you keep going on, and now you become addicted, and it's a problem when you don't have it. And you never, ever get to feel normal again. And when you try to drop the caffeine, you go through withdrawals. And at some point, you will get back to feeling normal, but it may not feel like a long time, especially if you're addicted to
But the easy way out is to stop those bad feelings by drinking it again.
Well, exactly, and to eat carbohydrate. So the bottom line is if you start eating consistent, good meals at the right time, at the right place, and snacks, the right type of snacks, you may not have these problems. And you can drop these stimulants, which will definitely improve your health.
So to set you up for the long haul for the day, breakfast-wise, what's a good idea?
Breakfast is the most important meal, and you've heard this over and over again, but you need to eat a high-protein breakfast.
Even the cereal companies say it's the most important meal, but they tell you to eat something that's not right.
Yeah, you got to eat the right fats. You've got olive, avocado, coconut oil, minimum carbohydrates. You don't want to have any added sugars or sweeteners. For example, turkey sausage with steamed greens and sweet potatoes may be a great breakfast. It may not sound like a great breakfast.
No, it sounds good.
Or smoked salmon, couple eggs, sliced avocado, vegetables. Those are more like dinner type of meals, but you'll be surprised how that will carry you for the rest of the day. And even your lunch needs to be somewhat consistent. You got to minimize the carbohydrates and the sweets and the fruits and the sugars.
What about eggs themselves? They were good. They were bad. They were in jail. We had to let them out of jail because they had been wrongly accused of being bad. Some people only eat egg whites and don't eat the yolks. Is there good parts? There's bad parts, or just a good egg or two every once in a while or every morning? Is that good or bad?
Eggs are a great food. It depends on how they're manufactured. You want eggs as close to nature as possible, and you want to try and minimize them and being grown in big old farms with different issues, and we can go into another talk on that. But eggs are wonderful. But, as we've talked about before, my whole thought process is everything in moderation. If one day you decide to have 4 eggs, it's no big deal. If you have 4 eggs every day, you might have a problem. So just everything in moderation. A couple eggs here and there are not going to hurt you. In fact, they're really great for you.
And even the yolks as well.
Absolutely, the yolks. Yolks are really important for you. I mean, I go to to breakfast all the time and I see everybody eating the egg white omelets, and it's kind of like, they're still under the concept that eggs and the cholesterol is going to create a cholesterol problem with them, and that's not true.
So where did all that come from?
If you look at how we're actually treating cardiovascular disease, and I've mentioned this before as well, we're back in the 70s. Well, not we, but just medical society. They're still thinking that cholesterol is the issue, and cholesterol is not the issue. There's other things that are much more of an issue, and cholesterol is not one of them.
So cholesterol, there's good cholesterol, bad cholesterol.
Theoretically, yes, they're what they call lipoproteins, and they've kind of pigeonholed them into cholesterols, and those are what we have the problem with, but they're important. They're both needed. We have LDL and HDL, and they're both very important. But it's how dense they are and the particle numbers of them that make the difference and create the problem, not cholesterol itself.
So what would make up a good, reasonable lunch? Because lunch is the closest meal to this afternoon crash.
Yeah, and if you're eating consistently and you do this for a while, you may not have those crashes. So lunch is going to sound kind of somewhat like breakfast just did, right? Smoked salmon, couple eggs, avocados, yams, turkey. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. You just want to minimize the carbohydrates and the fruit and the sweet.
Can you get a reasonable, healthy meal off of a salad bar?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You can make bad choices at a salad bar as well, but if you can actually have a good variety of different things in a salad bar, it'd be great. The other thing you want to make sure is that you're eating consistent little snacks in between these meals. And those snacks have to be right, otherwise you have a problem.
So when do you eat the fruit?
I don't eat fruit that often, but if you're going to eat fruit, you want to try and center it around where you're having a meal that has protein. That way you can kind of offset it and maintain your blood sugar level from the protein, not just the carbohydrate.
So you're more of a vegetable man than a fruit man?
Yes, but, and you can have bad vegetables too. So you really have to have a good basic balance, protein, carbohydrates, and healthy fat.
Which are the bad vegetables?
Some people have a problem with carrots. Anything that's really sweet may be a problem. And so, it's a lot of root stuff that can create problems for some people. So you mix it with protein. You have protein at the same time, and you're not going to have any issue with any of these fruits or carbs, vegetables, unless you go overboard and do too much.
Portion control is a big issue in this country.
Oh, it's huge. I was at an airport waiting for a layover, and I decided to look at the people coming off the airplane, and I was counting the people who were basically overweight, obese. Well, I found it much easier to count the people that were not obese. The numbers were a lot less. So it's a big issue.
It's an epidemic, and then obviously it's an industry to cater to these people of what to do about it. And obviously some solutions, as you're indicating, are simpler than some of the drastic measures that people are going to.
Yeah, it is. It's when you look around the world and people have a different problem, right? They're starving, but yet we're on the opposite end. And really, I'm not saying complete starvation is good, but starving to some extent is extremely healthy for you.
Well, people are always looking for instant solutions, and, it keeps coming back that the answer keeps being diet and exercise. Damn.
It's simple, and we keep trying to find different answers, but you're not going to find them. The basics.
Diet, exercise. We're talking to Dr. Greg Celaya. You're listening to Late Night Health with Mark Allen. My name's Darrell Wayne, sitting in this week. Dr. Greg and I will be back in just a moment. Check us out at latenighthealth.com. That's latenighthealth.com. Like us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/latenighthealth.